Okay, so now we're back to the next question, which was, are you meant to swear on the mats? That's what, no, sorry, skip that one. It's all right.
What is the meaning of Maai?
That's for David Sensei, right? Not about swearing, about Maai.
I don't get this reference to swearing. I never swear on the mat.
Of course not.
Aaron, have you ever heard me swear on the mat?
No.
There you go.
Certainly not.
There's something wrong with people's hearing. What's the meaning of what?
Maai.
Maai. Okay. So, okay. You know, people obsess over the academic meaning of stuff like this. The ideogram in Japanese means blah, blah, blah. And then they'll put forward some big academic bullshit story about it. And then somebody else, even more academic.
I like it when he gets feisty, isn't it?
Yeah.
Start swearing next.
Sort of swore. Is bullshit swearing?
Nah.
And then, somebody will go, the Chinese character means X, Y, Z, and that's completely different, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, the academics have no place on the map. It doesn't matter what you think. It's the experience. Think Einstein. Space-time. Smart guy, right? So, Maai, you could think of it as a combination of space and time in some inseparable manner, Einsteinian kind of manner. And so there is a distance between things and there is a time to cross them, and they are inseparable. And so Maai is the management of this space-time. So that's all it comes down to. And you know what? You can't put rules around that. People cross it at different speeds. People cross it with different forces. They come in on different vectors. And so Maai is a instinctive or learned capacity to blend with those things and to manage the distance between people. And so if a person's going to punch me in the head and I stand close enough for them to be able to do that, then I'm an idiot. I need to manage the distance a little bit between myself and the other person. Paul Sensei was talking before about manage the aggression. If somebody's super aggressive to me, I'm not going to move into their space unless I'm going to take their head off. So it'll be part of a planned approach where you're going down. That I will have an objective in mind. Otherwise, I'll be keeping a distance between us so that I can communicate with that person and manage them in the event that they wish to cross that space. So Maai is not an academic thing. It is a real thing, space and time, and it takes experience to understand, to gauge a person's speed, to gauge what weapons are involved. Are there things that change the distance? It's a real thing. Sorry, that's the best I can do on that one.
Yeah.
Paul, Sensei.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true, and it's reflected in modern Battlefield as well. Absolutely.
There you go. Next question.
Can you recommend some exercises to practice focusing power forward?
Look at
Sounds like a question for Joe Sensei.
Yeah, I just answered. Yeah, before, so really interrupted.
Oh, sorry about that.
Look at your partner. Don't look at your belt or up or down. Look at your partner. Your answer.
Yeah, have intent. So, Sunshin, also when you finish, don't stop. That's it, no worries, and we regain, and now we do another technique. We need to learn this sense of always watching, being aware, and if another attack comes, even though in training we know that in this format that we're practicing, whatever it is, that shouldn't happen, our mind shouldn't just let that be the case. We should always be observing. And I think that's something that in Aikido, the uke, as they're getting up, should always be observing where stay. And raising a hand for showmen can also be as much about protecting yourself as you come up as it is preparing for the next attack. So there's so much to learn as stay and uke, and you must investigate what it is you're doing, not just following the steps.
You know, at the beginning of every class, and often the end of every class, we'll say, make 2 lines, face your partner, migi hami no kamai. And it's only when the third thing gets said that people actually pay attention. Make two lines, hang on, there's two of us. I should be paying attention already. Face your partner, I should be extending to them already. If I'm not already nailing that person, I have them fixed in my mind, I know exactly who they are, where they are, how much time it's going to take them to get to me, what distance between us. I'm wasting my time. By the time someone says me coming on Kamai, I'm dead. So, but, you know, make two lines, well, hey, there's an enemy. I'm paying attention now. Face your partner, I'm very much paying attention. Migi hami no Kamai, I'm moving. We're underway. So that's the problem. Joe Sensei referred to that, how people want to play with their belt and figure out, you know, okay, Hajime, and people get up and they tidy themselves up and stuff. They're not looking for the enemy when they come up off the ground. They're looking for a friend to do their class with and or do their practice with. This is not the way to approach Budo. You stand up and you're looking for your enemy, and you face them like a person who can kill you. And that's the beginning there. It's a mental thing. That's the beginning there. It begins then. And you know what? Probably begins before then, because you're sitting down in Seizo and you're looking around and you're going, who's going to be my enemy?
So, Aaron's asked this question. This is like,
Good on you, Aaron.
what's the biggest gift your teacher has left for you?
In Aikido?
In anything, you know, Budo, we're talking Budo. The biggest gift your teacher has left for you? It's a good question, Aaron.
Freedom of expression. Freedom to be who I am.
How long did it take to realize that gift?
I think initially, because of my background and how I trained and so forth, I felt it, like from yourself, I felt it early. But I didn't know why, I didn't understand the reasoning behind it. But between yourself and my first karate instructor, it's been very much the freedom to be who I am. And that's, it really means something to me. And to then get recognized by both my karate instructor and my Aikido instructor is a very powerful thing. So I would say the freedom to be who I am. And now people go, well, I had a question that was given to me today. What's your favorite martial art, considering you've been exposed to so many? And it's like, well, they're blended. I don't do a favorite martial art. I do me. I just speak in your language. So I speak French, Portuguese, Italian, and Spanish. And depending who I'm talking to, I'll speak in your language. So with a Kyokushin group, I'm going to do pretty much what I do now. I'm going to speak in your language, so you understand what I'm saying. But with an Aikido group, I'm going to speak in your language, so you understand what I'm saying. If I'm with a Jiu-Jitsu group, I'm speaking in your language. These styles are just simply languages. That's all it is. And people are much more comfortable in learning in their language.
And if someone says, you're being a good salesman?
Oh, trust me, couldn't care less. Check out my martial art business. It's not my most profitable business. I'm not a very good salesman because I really don't care if you don't come to me. And if you prove not to be someone I want to be around me, I will tell you to go away.
Okay, fair enough. David Sensei, your biggest gift from your teacher?
I would say the direction to face and the confidence to move in that direction. So I feel like what I've had from my teachers like Joe Sensei and Shudokan Sensei has been which direction to to look, which direction to face, which direction to march forward. And they never tell you how to march, when to march, where to march, anything like this. It's just, it's that way. And then the belief, the confidence to take steps in that direction. I don't know if that rings a bell to people. But
and again, this reflects on yourself, because our answers are different. They're similar, but different. And that's a testament to how you operate. And that's just, this is something else we need to talk about with the organisation. We talk about what does Shihan mean, the teacher of teachers and so on, yet you have created Shihan. So, and I'm sure the 4 Shihan that you spoke about, 4, am I correct?
Okay.
The 4 Shihan you spoke about, I have no doubt that all 4 of us are different. Yet, we've received our Shihan license from the same person. Now that, to me, is a very powerful thing, very powerful statement.
All right. So the biggest, to answer your question now, biggest gift my teachers gave me was they educated me and they groomed me and then they let me go. So they taught me to become the best that I could be, but never told me what to be. Poetically put, they showed me where to look, but they didn't tell me what to see. So I think that's been the biggest gift that my teachers have given me, and it's something I hope to be able to pass on to the next generation. So when I'm riding in the hearse, I won't try driving it. Once I'm gone, I'm gone. It's up to the next generation. Next question, Flora.
Besides intelligence, what do women bring to your dojo?
food.
You can go first on that one. Being a man of the world and all that.
Oh. This will be where I just put my foot in my mouth, take it
You
out,
already
my
have.
foot in my
You
mouth.
always
I'll
I'm
be
just
like
letting
that.
you know,
It's just going to be.
it's how many feet you put in your mouth. You've already put a foot in your mouth.
Honestly,
Just saying.
God. I'm just going to be honest here. Why women? Why not people?
Oh,
Why do we have
don't
to
get
split the
Trudeau
world up
on me.
into
Don't
men and
get
women? Why
Trudeau
can't
on
they
me.
just be people?
Do not get Trudeau on me.
It's true.
Don't-
I don't even know who he is.
He's the freaking Prime Minister of Canada.
Okay, I
Absolute piece of-
Canadian too.
So
Canada.
why should I be listening to him?
No, you've got all Trudeau on me about being persons.
All right, give him a go. Let him go. It's his house. Yeah.
Well, I just
Well,
why do I have to
shit,
bring
right.
men and women? Why do they have to bring different things?
But they
People.
do, because there's
They do.
men and women.
All right, some smell
Yes.
better than the others, so they're usually the women.
I did not say that, people. He said that, and that's it.
What do women bring? I don't know. I hate questions.
All right,
like
I'm
that.
going to answer this question.
Go, Paul. It's
I
all
think women are distinctly different to men. I think that doesn't make them any less capable or any more capable. They're distinctly different. They have their own strengths and weaknesses, as do men. They complement each other, regardless of what they're interested in, and regardless of who they want to be with themselves. We all complement each other. And for me, the women bring balance. If all I see is men in my dojo, I should be concerned. If I see women and men, and whatever the hell else people want to identify as, I do not care. I care about lethality. I care about Budo. And Budo doesn't distinguish between your sexual orientation. It simply is that you are going to die. And it doesn't matter what you identify with, you're going to die. You're all equal in that. You will not live forever. And what I love about seeing women in my dojo is that the female lion is as important as the male lion. But you are not a male lion and the females in the group are female sheep. You're a male and female lions. We're going to make warriors out of you.
Now, I had an interesting chat with Cam in the last 24 hours, and we were talking about how women think of their size and their, I've said, softness as a disadvantage, and going, what are you thinking? These two things are massive advantages. You have to recognise the advantage that you have, whether you're male or female, and use the advantages that you have. So softness can be more related to relaxation. Said, we shouldn't think of women as soft. But I don't think of soft as bad. I think of soft as relaxed. And relaxed is smooth. Smooth is fast. Fast is useful. So it's turning these things around in our own mind from a disadvantage into an advantage.
Mm-hmm. I also think that I think that if I was a woman,
you'd be an ugly woman.
You'd be so ugly.
No,
God.
the thing is,
you would never get asked.
All right, I'd be an ugly woman. Right? I get that. Right? I don't see how a handsome man could be anything but an ugly woman. But the thing is, right, my take is this. If I was a woman, I can see the power of knowing intimately what men are. And if I was a man, for a woman to be a man, she would know intimately that power of what it is to be a woman. Like, it's like, okay, I'm a woman now. Well, hang on. Like, if you said when you wake up you're a woman, and I still remember, I know everything about men, I would be controlling most of the male population. And I think it's almost true the opposite way, because you understand the absolute weaknesses and strengths of that sex. And this is the thing, we actually complement each other. We actually help each other both to be stronger. So male and female, to me, is like Vikings. Or Indians. It's the warriors of our group. And if you're not a warrior, male or female, you're not thinking in that realm. And it's like, grab your shield, grab your axe, and regardless if you're male or female, you are a Viking, we are going to crush some people.
It's interesting because often in the dojo, I like to pair men with women in training. For the simple reason that I say to the men, you don't have to use strength now. It's not necessary. Look at the size of this person. Look at their weight compared to yours. So you actually have the chance to try and explore the technique. And I want you to kill him. Develop force without worrying about the person being
Like
damaged.
the geisha with the weapon in the hair.
Yeah.
And I'll get close enough to enjoy it.
I get to answer, don't
I don't know.
I don't know. Do you have
I don't know anymore.
Sensei, you have
in my eternal wisdom, and being the whole
and having chance to think about it, but anyway.
Eternal wisdom, and being the host of the show,
Of Sphere Show.
I would not presume to speak on behalf of women. We've got 4 women off camera people. What do you think? What do women bring? Oh, sorry. I thought you did a high five. Anyway, right. Not counting Aaron. Come on. Anyway, so
that would make
what do you think women bring to the dojo?
Everything
I
Sensei
think
Paul
balance.
said.
Well, I think balance is
Thank you.
But it's not, I think when you say man and woman, you're still pigeonholing people. And you need all types of people, all race, all gender, everything. And when you have that, you have people that can inspire everyone. Like there's someone for everyone.
Sure.
And awesome.
Anyone else want to have another tell tomorrow?
I agree. I think balance as well. If I was to be classed as a woman on the mat, I'd be very disappointed. I'd like to be classed as equal. I'd like to be
It
able
sounds like you two are agreeing with me. You're
Yeah,
not
but
going
you know
too low,
what?
are you?
I think you can be more than equal. Like a lioness is the animal, is the sex that predominantly hunts for the lion pack.
Sorry, Tamara, before you were so rudely interrupted.
That wasn't
by my
really
guest.
interrupted.
By my
No, I'm
guest.
saying I
Please.
agree with you, but I'm saying it's not a matter of being equal. You could be more than equal. It's in elements, women are stronger than men.
That's
in
what we
other
were saying
elements,
today.
men are stronger than women. Do you know what I mean? We're not equal.
No.
You're actually stronger than us in certain elements. We're stronger than you in other elements. Hence, we complement.
But in my show, you get to have a say.
So when Aaron and I went for our knee down, I trained in a 10 kilo weight vest. So I could balance Aaron's strength and power that he had in his legs that I didn't. So equality, but also understanding that yes, Aaron has more strength than I did. So trying to equal it. So and understanding that there are standards set, and whether we are men or women, we have to meet them.
Anyone else?
Gwen, what do you think?
The dynamic to complement each other. Right. Yeah, I think balance is the right way to explain it. Equalization, no, we don't. I agree with Sensei, probably different. We have our own strength and weakness. But yeah, the difference is at the dynamic and the complement each other. So,
Cam?
No.
No
Maggie?
opinion? Maggie?
I would probably bring it back to how
Sorry, Maggie, louder, please.
I was think that how you initially early in the interview Sensei, you were saying we are the arrow, so I would think women would be the bow to complement the arrow to help Dojo to counteract, not just counteract, but to experience of each other force and techniques and ways of doing things. And
The string.
See? People, that's why I get paid the big bucks, because I let women speak for themselves. Having said that,
Let.
Tamara, I'll take an argument with what you said, right? That you had to wear a 10 kilo vest to challenge whatever you perceive to be different with Aaron, right? What's your weight, Aaron?
Just less than 90.
What's your weight?
73.
You can't. Oh, all right, hey, I can ask him his weight, I can ask him the weight, right? My last test, I did it with Darren Friend as a nuke. I was 20 kilos, at least 20 kilos, if not more, lighter than him. I didn't train with a vest. Why did you need to do that? I don't understand that.
I wanted to hit a certain fitness standard for the test itself.
So did I.
And I had resources that I knew could help to improve my power, to improve my speed. That is why I used it more than anything else.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
So a swing with 3 bats theory. Baseballers get up and swing 3 bats, and then they drop one, and I've got 1 bat hit the ball, and it feels more manageable.
All right. Any more questions there, Flori, before we get to,
Us, what next?
in what context?
The
There is no
organisation.
context.
The organisation.
The organization.
I just created
What
context.
next? That's easy.
I should
Next is a seminar in Melbourne. Yeah. Well, you've done.
Okay, people, what David Sensei is alluding to is that there is going to be a seminar in Melbourne in November. We haven't quite fixed the date yet. It's November, 3rd or 4th week of November. There will be 6 teachers. It's the who's who of the Yoshinkan system of Aikido in Australia. It's going to be Mori Sensei, Darren Friend Sensei, John Marshall Sensei, Paul Cale Sensei, David Dangerfield Sensei, and a small cameo by myself. So 6 of us, and that's what's next. So keep tuned for that. What's next in any other context? Have another drink?
Another drink. I think another drink.
Should you pause there?
But no. Why
Okay,
pause?
keep going. Go.
But I think what next in the biggest scheme of things is to put it out there that we're here, we're available to help people who need to take the next step in their Aikido, who need to take the next step in developing their dojo. We're here to help you. We want to help you. All three of us run successful businesses, dojos, etc., or at least two do, one doesn't. But we're there for you. We're a resource. So if you feel you want to contact us, this is not a shameless plug. It's us reaching out to you and saying, come have a chat. If you feel that Shudokan, Aiki, Budo, Renmei can be of assistance to you, can take you to the next level, contact us. Have a chat. That's what's next.
You know what? It's also not just Aikido. It's Aiki Budo. It's Budo. So if you're out there and you're practicing Budo and your heart's in the right place and you're willing to put in the effort, and whatever Budo you're practicing, if there's some way we can help you, we'll help you.
Okay, so what's the difference between Aikido and Budo?
Aiki Budo for me. Aiki,
No, not Aiki Budo. What's the difference between Aikido and Budo?
The boo. The boo. The martial. And look, okay, for me, it's because there's so many people destroying the name Aikido.
That's it.
That's it. And like, even with, like, I have, obviously, I'm graded in 3 styles of Aikido, right? They're all pre-World War II styles. 2 are from the 1920s and we have 1930s, right? I even asked my teacher in the Gokushinru, please may I call it Aikibudo? Just because I don't want to say Aikido. Now, I feel slightly different about that now. To be honest, I feel slightly different. It was because there was so many people damaging the name of Aikido. But now it's like, you know what, I'll embrace it. How about I just show you what it can actually be.
What's the difference?
Exactly the same.
Okay,
So it's a boo. It's a warrior spirit.
You're saying that
there is some shit Aikido.
You're saying that generally speaking, Aikido is not Budo. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying generally speaking, the people that do Aikido are not Budo.
I'm not practicing Budo.
Aikido is absolutely Budo. The people doing it are predominantly not.
Why not?
Because they're shit. And they're shit because they are very, very faded photocopies of what they think it should be. And because they have manipulated the training system of Aikido. If Uke falls, no matter what, they can go, well, on this dan, if you don't fall and make me look good, how would you think I will grade you?
No.
And everything else, it just destroys it.
It's Aikido's, I think, one of the central words in English for Aikido. People would talk about cooperation. But cooperation is not collusion.
Yes.
Not collusion, people.
Yeah.
Cooperation is where we polish each other. And polishing each other is not a comfortable experience all the time. It's grinding and rubbing against each other.
Yeah.
A collusion that's not the same. So
It doesn't mean that in a Catholic priest kind of way either. Just so you're sure on that. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. I don't mean Catholic priest way.
This
But
is why we don't get
really have to step away
it's
from that
alright.
collusion aspect of Aikido. That's why I struggle. Sometimes I'm embarrassed to say I do Aikido. I'm thinking of the early years when I started my dojo, and we would be invited to come and do a demonstration. In fact, we weren't invited. I'd come and knock on the door because I wanted to show people what Aikido was. And the martial arts community here on the Sunshine Coast had an opinion of Aikido, and I wanted to completely freaking change that. And I did. I went to fight nights. I went to the opening of an envelope. It's just, let me do a demo here. And I wanted people to respect Aikido. And we took probably 10 years for that to happen. And people would be going, oh, Jesus, I didn't know Aikido was like that. And then I go work in security and they go, oh, what's with that? I thought it was all love and peace. No, it doesn't have to be that way. It's addressing that stuff.
So, why, aside from what you said, why else? Oh, I don't understand. Why is Aikido? Why aren't Aikidoka Budoka?
Aikidoka are Budoka if they maintain the martial mindset.
Today.
If they don't, and our Sensei said that, full stop. He's the founder, he said that. If you're not doing that, you're not doing what our Sensei says, you're not following Aikido.
Just today, we were watching people training. How much trouble did people have with the idea of punching each other? Of striking
And yet
each
we'll
other
say
with
that
control and aggression.
80% or whatever percentage, very high percentage. There are various groups that say different numbers, but it's a high percentage. It's beyond 50%. Is striking. Well,
So
if
controlled and
80 to
aggressive
90% is striking, then the movements is teaching you places that we're going to strike from. So, sit back and just dismiss that. And we saw it over the weekend. We would show a Temi and it would be dismissed, and people would just go
People
straight
did
back
not copy
into.
the atemi.
They would not do the Atemi and they'd just go straight back into their normal behaviours. Now that's not their fault. If everyone's doing it, it's the fault of training.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you're not going to remember this, but I asked you a question after your Shodan test.
Yeah.
I asked you, do you believe that Aikido is a non-fighting martial art?
And I said no.
No. And
I
I
do
said,
remember
and
it.
I said, a lot of the top Shihans in the world say otherwise.
And I said I disagree.
And I said, how do you know I don't agree with that? And you said, to my face, I wouldn't be here if you did.
Yeah.
Right? Do you still hold to that?
Yep. You made me a Shihan.
But look,
You made a big mistake then.
no, I didn't make a big mistake because I agree with you. But
Well, if you disagree,
If I disagree, I probably wouldn't be a Shihan.
the issue here is that I really don't care whether people say Aikido is a Budo or not. The crux of the problem is when people don't know the distinction in that question. They don't know the basis of that question because then they do not understand Aikido and they do not understand Budo. But they purport to do both. If you say Aikido is not Budo, I accept that. If you say Aikido is Budo, I accept that. But when you go, what are you talking about? Then I have an issue with you. And this is the perception we have to change. I'm okay. If you say I want to do no touch Aikido and,
No, I hear you,
Yep.
and I respectively disagree. If you want to do no touch Aikido, call it something else. I'd call it shit. Call it shit though.
Fair enough. I'll disagree with you there, but, because I'm
No
more
worries.
polite people. I'm more polite than
No
you.
problem.
But
only in public.
so anyway, if you want to learn what Budo is, you have to have intent. Whatever you do. And what you said today, you don't have to hurt someone,
No.
but you have to have the intent and the control.
Correct.
Otherwise, you're wasting your time.
The Koru is a great example of that because they have at least a stick in their hand that represents a weapon, right? At least a stick that's a sword or what have you. That will still belt you rotten. And you'll get a huge amount of intent out of that, but they cannot be belting each other. Yet because we're unarmed, we don't understand how effective we can be. And yet we do things that hurt each other and we're like, why are you doing that? Because you are not hurting properly. Like if I am going to go through your throat, if I am going to hurt you and drive your skull into the ground, you're not getting up. So stop pretending to be tough. Just take it easy and let your mind go through the process.
Okay. Now, before we wind up, any of you got any questions for my esteemed guest? Aaron? No? Alright, cool. Last question. I'll go to David Dangerfield Sensei first. How does David Dangerfield, the CEO of Campus, something like whatever.
Something, whatever.
You deal with people who have disabilities, you're very caring in nature. How do you reconcile that with doing Budo, the art of killing?
That's easy. It's the same thing. So
No, it's not.
it really is.
No, come
It
on.
really is. Caring about people and caring about the best outcome. So I do. Compass is 20 years now of supporting people with intellectual and physical disabilities, and it's comes out. It literally grew out of the dojo. So it was an outreach program from the dojo, and it's because I wanted to make the world a better place. And to me, that is 100% what Budo is. To make the world a better place, sometimes you have to kill fuckers. You have to get rid of bad people. I don't kill bad people. But you do. Sometimes to make the world a better place, you've got to wreak a little havoc. And that is what makes it safe for people who aren't able to do that. Not everybody has to do that, but Budoka have to be able to do that. I'm not saying that everybody, it's your job to be out in that front line and make that happen, but somebody has to. And if you're not one of those people, well, who's it going to be? Is your neighbour or is your friend? You're going to depend on somebody else to go on the front line? Just go on the line yourself.
But
And
I
practice
see,
to be the person
I
who
see a
goes
big
in.
contradiction there between caring and, you're swinging. So you got live blades in your house. You're teaching young Aaron, soft boy that he is,
Young
cut
Aaron.
people in half. Teaching Josie how to be a killer, and now Quinn, lovely woman that I sent over here, teaching how to wield a sword and stuff. Isn't that all a bit bloodthirsty for someone who's a carer?
Well, it could be thought of that, Sensei. You're really fishing.
Trying.
Yeah, you're really fishing. Isn't it
Tell me wrong, tell me
about
wrong.
protecting our community? Isn't that what Budo's about? So our community comprises people who are disadvantaged, have disabilities and aren't able to protect themselves. Well, isn't that the capacity, the people who have the capacity to protect them, their job to do that? And so why wouldn't you want to become good at your job? How do you become good at your job? You practice. That's what we do. We go to the dojo and we practice to become good at our job. So that when it's our turn to protect people, we can do that.
All right, correct. Adrian, tell me what slide would say to that. I'll move over to Paul Cale Sensei. Paul Cale the Viking. How are you doing the art of harmony? The reason I say Paul Cale the Viking because he's got a picture of him. He acts dressed as a Viking in his office.
Yeah, my kids got the photo, mate.
Oh, okay, well, blame the kids. No excuses.
I'm not blaming them. I think it's a fantastic.
I think it was awesome. But how does Paul Cale
I'll
the
see this
Viking...
photo.
Yeah, it's good. How does Paul Cale the Viking do Budo and Aiki, the art of love and harmony, peace among beings?
I don't think it's the love of harmony and peace among beings. Oh, keep talking. Okay. Yeah, I
Let's
think.
do another
Why do
drink.
we have to explain everything?
It's my show.
Why can't
It's
people
my
work
show.
it out? Why can't we just say, you work it out?
I can see what's going
Because
on.
Aaron's not very
How
smart.
are you doing that and how are you doing it?
Yeah.
I get it. Look, it's out of wanting to protect and save people from the absolute disaster that is war and the pain that is death that's inflicted on people who are killing people. The harm that's done with people who can't protect themselves.
Skin the swords up.
Yeah,
This is my motivation.
brushes in the wrong bit.
The interesting thing for me with martial arts is that I learned martial arts from a young age, and I took up martial arts because I was beaten daily in primary school. And I thought martial arts would help me. It didn't. I didn't have the intent or the drive to actually protect myself. It was easier to be beaten than it was to retaliate. And then one day I just snapped. And then I thought about doing martial arts, but I just decided to hurt someone. And I hurt them badly. And then I realized that martial arts is about controlling that mindset and that intent. It didn't give me the intent, and it's probably got to do with the art itself. Didn't have that sort of side to it, I guess. And it wasn't Aikido. I started with Taekwondo as my first martial art. So martial arts has been, for me, an important part of my life from the moment that I discovered that I could hurt somebody. It didn't help me hurting somebody. It taught me a bunch of techniques that meant nothing. I didn't use any of them. But one day I hurt somebody, and then martial arts became important to me because it taught me about respecting other people. It taught me about perspective of other people. It taught me about the difference of other people. And it was a community that if I didn't have martial arts, I wouldn't have community. And I would be more of a damaged person than what I was by being part of the Budo. So I was attracted to it, but it taught me a lot more than the martial element. And I pushed the martial elements forward so hard because it will always transcend the combat. It will always transcend the combat. But if there's nothing to transcend, then how am I giving a lesson beyond that?
Such a good point.
There you go, people. That was just worth the price of admission. Okay, last question. This is it. The seminar we've had. Your biggest plus in the seminar and your biggest regret in the seminar.
Biggest plus was the effort. You know, I feel like the most important, well, two important things we have, time and attention. And, you know, time is finite. Attention is something that wavers. So what we did was we had people gave up their time, and then they gave us, when they'd given up their time to come and be with us, they gave us their attention. And it's a gift. It's an absolute gift. And we tried to return that by magnifying the value for their time and repaying their attention as much as we possibly can. And that sets up this positive kind of virtuous circle where everybody gets something. The pie is no longer this big, the pie is this big because we all work together, student and person trying to guide those groups of students, we all gain from it. So I felt that was the biggest thing. I don't know, I can't think of a negative.
The swearing?
The swearing, I wish you hadn't done that, Sensei. Okay. I was a little embarrassed.
I do apologize.
Yeah, it's a little abnormal, but you know, I forgive you. I forgive you. But you do owe $5 to the swear jar.
Okay.
Negatives.
The food.
What was? Oh, the food. The food was shit, people. You do not come. If I ever say come to Currimundi for a camp, just say fuck off. Don't come. Oh,
where's the swear jar?
Do not come. The food was shit. I had food flowing in because it was that awful.
Okay.
I'd rather starve. But apart from that, it was great.
The positive.
There was some snoring though.
Oh.
There'll be
I won't point fingers.
There'll be some snoring tonight. The positives for me was that we were able to break the shackles of COVID and come together again. The numbers were irrelevant to me. It was just great to see people from all over the country coming together again. The negative was that it ends.
Does it?
Okay.
It doesn't, but the Gasshuku does. And it's always like, you just kind of want to let it linger for as long as possible.
It's hard having the final say on my own show. You guys, anything you want to add about?
Oh, it's your show.
Yeah, it was.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, without a word of a lie, the biggest plus was learning from these two gentlemen on either side of me. I kid you not. I listen, I learn. Whenever they speak, I learn. And always learn. Sometimes they say the same things, but it means different things. And really, it was a big plus. their experiences, life experiences, their Budo experiences, I learn all the time. The biggest minus, you weren't there. On that note, hashtag keep the flame alive. Thank you very much, everyone. See you next time.
Ciao.
Os.
Os.
Os.